Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Mack, and today we're continuing with our school board series part 2 entitled, How Communities Hold School Boards Accountable. In part 1, we broke down the role of school board commissioners and where boards go wrong. Now comes the next question. What can communities actually do when boards fail to meet their responsibilities? Because accountability doesn't start with the boardroom. It starts with an informed community. So here are 6 accountability tools that each community needs to stay informed. Here we go. Accountability tool number 1, understand the board's legal authority. The first step to accountability is knowing what boards can and cannot do. Simply put, boards can set policy, hire and evaluate the superintendent, approve budgets and contracts, and provide oversight. They do not run daily operations, directly supervise staff, or ignore due process. Communities that understand these boundaries are harder to mislead. Accountability tool number 2, use public meetings strategically. Public comment is not a formality, it's a record. Effective communities submit written comments in advance. They reference board policies and state law. They ask clear questions that are answerable. And they demand follow-up and timelines. Silence helps boards, but documentation protects communities. Accountability tool number 3, demand transparency and records. Boards operate with public funds and public authority. Communities have the right to, number 1, request agendas and minutes, and number 2, review contracts and policies, and number 3, file public records requests when necessary. You see, transparency is not optional. It's a legal obligation. Accountability tool number 4, organize, don't individualize. You see, boards are less responsive to individuals and far more responsive to organized groups. Effective accountability comes from parent coalitions, community organizations, educator alliances, faith and civic groups. See, one voice can be dismissed, but many voices, they create pressure. How about tool number 5? Engage the superintendent pathway. Boards are accountable for superintendent oversight, but the community should monitor the superintendent's evaluations, question contract renewals, request performance metrics, and demand alignment with policy outcomes. You see, if leadership fails, boards must respond or be held responsible. And last but not least, accountability tool number 6, use elections and appointments. See, school board seats are public offices, as many of you know. But accountability includes voting in the school board elections. We need people to get out and vote. Researching candidates' voting record, those who are running. Supporting ethical challengers. If you see an ethical challenger, support that individual. And engaging, appointing authorities where applicable. If you have an opportunity to engage these authorities, then do so. You see, boards, they answer to the public, period. School boards govern on behalf of communities. When boards forget that, communities must remind them lawfully, persistently, and collectively. Accountability, folks, that is not disruption. It's called democracy. Now, that's part 2 of Ed Talks Daily. If this helped, share it and stay informed. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Mack. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you won't miss episode 3 entitled When and How to Escalate Oversight. Have a great day.